Hi everybody, I hope you all are doing well. I hope you're staying safe and taking care of yourselves. Um, Here I am. I know I promised you some time ago that very soon I was going to create my YouTube channel, and I haven't till today because, so many things happening, and everything has changed very dramatically for almost everybody with the coronavirus and the lockdown, which came by surprise. And I took some time to readjust to the new situation so that whatever I put out there is something you find value in and you are interested in listening to. So to start with, I'd like to share with you what helps me cope with situations like this, which are very uncertain and challenging in many ways, and what helps me deal with these situations in a way that makes me feel untouched by them and sail through them effortlessly. I would like to talk about my inner engineering experience, how I started to internally engineer myself the way I want to be. Now, just to give you the right context, I'd like to share with you about the kind of person I was before I started to engineer myself. And that was the kind of person that was not happening the way I wanted to. And one thing about me is that I am very blunt and honest, and the way I am to myself is how I will be to you 100%. So the way I was very bitter, very difficult to deal with, because I had a very difficult mind which I couldn't, even myself, I couldn't cope with, because my intellect was always trying to penetrate through everything and was never able to make it to the root of the matter. So it was a constant struggle, always, all the time. So anytime that somebody would come up with answers to me, I was always telling them how that's not the answer, but I couldn't find the answer myself. So I was very difficult to deal with, and but I didn't make myself difficult to other people, because anyway, I didn't like hanging out with people a lot, so I stood alone most of the time. Now, the reason I didn't like hanging out with people is because everybody was like, most of the time, what people would talk about was mostly gossip or things that they believed in, and they would give to you as the answers, but those things never worked in their lives. And I had no respect for know-it-all people who really had their lives in such a way that those things that they sold as the way, the solution, didn't work, obviously, for them. So I preferred to stay alone most of the time, and the way I was going about finding answers myself was through reading books and observing a lot. And the other way was religion because through books, you gather information about the physical aspect of life, and then when you wonder what's beyond this, you cannot know that in books. So there was religion talking about God, and I was interested. So I started to go to church because I was grown in a Catholic family, Catholic town, and that's what I was exposed to. So I started going to church, and I had so many questions, and I found out that the way of religion is about you giving up your logic and simply believing something that is written in a book, which is interpreted by someone who supposedly has connections with God, and he knows what God wants you to do. So that could really not fit in my way of being, because nothing that wouldn't make sense to me, I could not accept that. Just being blind and believing something that didn't make any sense and was really stupid to me. And I didn't want that. Not even the heaven I didn't want. And I stopped going to church by the time I was 12. And then I went about my way of seeking through reading a lot. And you know, after many years of trying to gain intelligence, I realized that I was not anywhere closer to knowing. I just realized that my mind had become very unstable, very confused, and my emotions had become very bitter and very destructive. I had become very self-destructive at that point, and I thought I'm just losing it. So I started reading more psychology at that time, psychoanalysis and that kind of stuff, to really help myself deal with my own mind at that point. You know, all the time I was using my mind as the way to know, and then my mind had turned into a problem. And you know, in psychology they say that whatever happens in your life that in a way stops your natural flow of life is considered as a trauma. So that was basically my whole life, and that I couldn't understand. It didn't make any sense. Like, was I alive or not? How life was passing me by while it was not my life. It was something that was stopping my natural flow of life. Didn't really make any sense, and nothing really made any sense, because everything was about recycling what's already in the head, but what was there was actually the problem. Not really what was there, just this is something that I can go on forever, and I will make another video about this, the mental process, the mind and stuff. But yeah, I realized that I could not know the way I was going about it, and the only solution to my problem was death at that point, because just being alive was such a struggle. At that point I really couldn't anymore. I didn't know how to live, because nothing that was superficial, that people do for fun, just to go about life without really going deep what this is about, nothing worked for me like that. So I had brought my body even to a point of almost giving up life, very self-destructive. And realizing that I wasn't able to know like that, I just surrendered to the fact that I was ignorant and I couldn't know, and it was very painful. And you know how they say, when the student is ready, the master appears. I guess all it took is for me to give up my ways for the master to appear. So the master appeared, and Now, those who have a problem with the word master, I want you to know that master doesn't mean priest. A master is not someone who tells you what to do, how to live your life. It doesn't tell you this is the truth you must believe in. A master is someone who brings clarity in your life so that you see for yourself and you live according to your own intelligence. And that's what my master did for me. It brought clarity. Now, if your eyes are open and if you are receptive to everything, everything is a master. The sky, the earth, the trees, air, ants, flies, birds, anything is a master. But because we understand only through words, when we are so intellectual, we need someone who can bring clarity, who can open our eyes through words. And that's what I did initially when Sadhguru appeared. He brought so much clarity, he would speak with so much clarity that I could not stop listening to him. For many years I watched all the videos of him on YouTube, and I read some books, and then I thought, okay, this guy really makes absolute sense to me. Nobody else ever did, and this guy is making absolute sense to me. Now it's time I know for myself what he's talking about, because what he says is that you shouldn't believe anything I say. You shouldn't believe anything that's not in your experience yet. So I thought I'm gonna apply within myself what he's talking about and see for myself, because that's how I went about everything that I was exposed to. Actually, whatever knowledge I was exposed to, I internalized it, but because it was not true knowing, it was not wisdom, it wasn't truth, it didn't help me. In the contrary, it destroyed me because it wasn't truth. So I started with these simple practices designed by him, yoga and meditation, and very quickly I started seeing my life being transformed. My health, my mental and emotional balance, everything improved so much, and life became so easy. I had been complicating it my whole life, just not knowing how to live. And life became so beautiful, so effortless, and this sense of freedom came inside me. And the way, as I said before, the way I am within myself is how I will be to you. My relationships with people became so beautiful, and I was just joyful. I had really never felt like this before. I know it is in a way painful to say, because I had really never known true happiness in my life for 27 years, and I could really see that this is it. The only way out is in, how Sadhguru says. I could find all the answers within myself. I learned how to be, and then I took these tools I started using. Meditation and yoga for beginners are available online for free for everyone, and this is what I first took in my hands and made use of. They had a huge impact in my life. For a year or so I did these practices, and then inner engineering program happened. Oh my God, it was life transforming. Since then I am able to constantly be in touch with truth, and this just simply gives me so much freedom. inner freedom. This is like no other kind of freedom. Nobody can give this to you. Nobody can take this away from you. You can make your life how you want it to be. No situations can have an impact on you to make you miserable and lose your ability to respond to those situations the way it's mostly constructive and beneficial for you and everyone involved in the situation. The kind of joy and bliss, I never knew it is possible to feel this way. I can tell you that there is no day that passes without experiencing tears of love and joy and bliss. And this is just magical. And it's simply because I am in touch with truth. And it's the most beautiful thing ever, because this is what it means to be human, to be conscious of everything. And I had been longing for this all my life. I had been longing for this and looking everywhere without knowing that it can be found within, because we are not separate from the rest of existence. Once we look within, everything exists within us, because everything is interconnected. So there is so much I can say, and still there are no words to describe this, but I will leave the rest for my future videos. I would like each and every one of you to make use of these tools, because we shouldn't be an issue in our lives. If we are an issue for ourselves, we will only become one more issue in the outside situations. So if we want to create solutions, first thing is for us not to be an issue. And then we can deal with the world, with the outside situations to our best capabilities. But we must happen the way we want ourselves to happen. Nobody else can make us feel the way we want to feel. No amount of money or relationships or nothing can make us experience life the way we want it. The key is only within. So I know these are very challenging times for everyone, and especially for the healthcare providers. That's why Sadhguru is offering Inner Engineering online for free to all healthcare providers, and it's also offered at 50% discount to everyone until the end of May. Please make use of these tools, this opportunity. There are also other tools available online for free, as I said before, yoga and meditation for beginners. I'm going to share those with you, and just see for yourselves. You shouldn't believe what I say. This is my experience. I want you to have your own experience in such a way that brings you so much clarity and joy in your life, that whatever comes is welcome. Actually, the bigger the challenge, the better, because you can just explore with life, and you can just push your limits more and more, and it becomes exciting. When you are balanced and capable, big challenges are exciting. So stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching.